च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
कृपामयी प्रसन्नवदनां देवी द्विभुजां स्थिरलोचना आलुलायितकेशार्ध वक्षस्थलविमण्डिताम् श्वेतवस्त्रावृतार्धाङ्गाम् हेमालङ्कारभूषिताम् स्वक्रोडन्यस्तहस्ताञ्च ज्ञानभक्तिप्रदायिनीम् शुभ्रा।
On the 24th, 23rd April, we had our last discourse on the Gita. We were studying verse 44 of chapter 6, where a very beautiful statement is made by Sri Krishna, and I spent some time to expound the significance of that statement. Jijñāsarapi yogasya shabda brahmāti vartate. Even the inquirer into the nature of yoga will transcend the do's and don'ts of the world's religions. Shabda Brahma means the Veda. Veda which contains rituals, injunctions, prohibitions, etc. That is the ordinary level of religion. The ethnic dimension of religion. Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, all have it. A few do's and don'ts. But that is not true religion. Religion means a growth, a realization, manifestation of the divine within. And once you start on that road, then these little do's and don'ts have no value for you. That's the meaning of that statement. When you begin to experiment with religion, then you don't need these do's and don'ts. That's the idea. So last time, 2 Sundays ago, I discussed this important statement in the Gita. This is very strongly upheld only in the Hindu tradition, not in Christian, not in Islamic. There, the do's and don'ts are very, very powerful. You cannot easily transcend them. And if you transcend them, you may be punished also, even with death. But in the Sanatana Dharma tradition, when you transcend this and begin to live religion, then you are very much appreciated, because that is the soul of religion. Because in Sanatana Dharma, experience, anubhava, is a test of religion, not belief. In all of the religions, belief is very, very central. But in India, it is peripheral. That's why we don't destroy unbelievers, burn them, torture them. We don't do. That is all due to this one single truth that is emphasized. Religion is realization and not belief. And when you start experimenting with religion, with a view to realizing its truth, you go beyond all these little do's and don'ts. As Ramakrishna used to say, Sandhya, Vandana, we have in our tradition with mantras and all that. It is a very formal ritual, Sandhya Vandana. The theory is, you don't gain anything by Sandhya Vandana. But if you don't do it, you get into trouble. That's the idea. Agarane prativaya dosha. If you don't do, you get trouble. If you do, you don't get any benefit. That's the nature of this kind of ritual. And Ramakrishna says, Sandhya merges in Gayatri. Gayatri is much higher spiritually than this ritual of Sandhya. So when you find spiritually a little stimulus has come to you, you did not do the Sandhya at all. You can straight away start with Gayatri meditation. Gayatri merges in Om, that supreme divine word, which is the symbol of the absolute reality. In this way, there is such a thing as a progress in spiritual life. We did not remain, even at the age of 80, still at that elementary, what we call infant standard level. This concept is very strong in the Indian spiritual tradition. Wherever that emphasis is there, you have the science of religion. Religion taking you to the experience of some profound spiritual truth. And the Gita and the Upanishads are interested not in confining people to this little do's and don'ts, but to give them a taste of the reality hidden within them. You must realize this truth. Again and again, it is emphasized in Upanishad, Gita, and other great books of the Hindu tradition. In the Sufi tradition, there is this emphasis on going beyond the rituals and do's and don'ts of religion. So also in Christian mystical tradition. But every time they have to watch for the reaction of orthodoxy. If you go a little more, then orthodoxy will come upon you. The church will come upon you. That's why they have to walk very carefully in the inner life. And the finest spirits have been killed by orthodoxy in all these religions. That is the speciality of the Indian tradition. We don't kill away people who take religion seriously. They are happy you have taken religion seriously. Religion is not a talk matter for you. You are living it, you are realizing it. It is this succession of spiritual experimenters and those who realize spirituality that has kept India strong and steady. That is the soul of religion. Other aspects of religion may sometimes be ignored, as we are doing today. How many do's and don'ts of the Hindu religion we are ignoring every day today. So many things which are prescribed we don't do. That doesn't make you lose the Hindu religion, because it consists in a struggle to realize the truth within in your own experience. Everybody can do it. So this is the importance of this statement in verse 44, when Krishna said, Purvabhyasena tenaiva priyate avashopisaha. A yogi, before attaining the end of yoga, or he falls down from that yoga practice, when he dies in the next birth, he starts from where he left off. And he continues. He is impelled by those old samskaras. Spiritual samskaras are there. Without his knowing it, he is being impelled towards spiritual practice. And he becomes an experimenter in that new life. And in that stage, jitnyasarapi yogasya shabda brahmadi vartate jitnyasu, a questioner. What am I doing? When Ramakrishna started as a pujari in the Kali temple of Dakshineshwar, he became a jitnyasu there. what am I doing? Worshipping a stone image. Is it true? Is it correct? Is there a divine in this stone or in this universe? This kind of questioning you find from the very beginning. That is the nature of the spiritual growth of man. Otherwise we take it for granted. Any priest doesn't question all this. Whatever he does, and if he gets his money, that is enough for him. But here, quite different. Ramakrishna started questioning. Are you true? Are you true, mother? Or is it all mere poetry, mere imaginations of people, mere myth and legend? All these questions came into his mind, and out of this questioning came the tremendous development of pure spirituality through various paths in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. And so the next sloka says, verse 45, Prayatnat yatamanastu yogi samshuddha gitvishaha aneka janma samsiddha tato yati paramgatim. It says, Prayatnat yatamanastu. When the yogi is struggling with tremendous effort, yogi samshuddha gitvishaha. In the course of that struggle, he is shedding his sin, impurity, and other things of the mind. Samshuddha kilpisha means evil. Whatever is evil in him, he is washing away in the course of this struggle. Then, thus he goes on, building up his spiritual awareness, step by step, step by step, in a series of births. Some you do in one birth, continue in the next birth. Next birth is a long journey, can't be finished in just in a short time. So, aneka janma samsiddha. He becomes perfected in many, many births. Tato yanti param gatim. And the last birth, when he is perfectly ripe, he achieves spiritual realization. It can be done in one birth, provided there is the spiritual assets available. Otherwise, we have to build up these assets. And assets building means living a good life, ethics, morality, and trying to love God and to advance towards Him, not merely a stagnant piety, but a dynamic spiritual life is needed. In that way, you start advancing. Even then, by the time you come to the end of your life, you may not have achieved much. Then, when you die with the thought of the divine, in the next life you continue. The march continues. Narada, one of our greatest saints in the Sanatana Dharma tradition, in his earlier birth, he devoted himself to spiritual life. Even from mother's womb, he got spiritual instruction by the discussions of sages who came to his house, where mother was only a maidservant at that time. Then he struggled after mother's death. He is telling his own story in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Then he heard a voice. Narada, you cannot achieve the highest in this life. There are still some weaknesses that have to be shed in your life. So next life you will get perfect. And in the next life it is, you get the perfect Narada, who becomes the great messenger of God. It's a wonderful story about Narada all over in our Puranas. So he said that, Hanta asmin janmani bhavan navam drashtum shashakyate. In this Janma, you cannot realize me, O Narada. He heard a voice. And so he passed away, and the next birth, he achieved the highest. So difficulty. Prayatnat yatamanastu yogi samshuddha gitvishaha. When the mind is free from all evil and become pure, aneka janma samsiddha. We are building up our assets of purity and spirituality, life after life. And in the final life, when it is perfect, tato yati param gatim. You achieve the supreme state of spirituality. We believe in different births, not just one birth only. Therefore, everybody has a chance to achieve this profound realization. It is the birthright of one and all. But do well this time. And then, if it is not over, while leaving the world, think of the highest and start your new life from where you left off here. This is a very beautiful, elevating, encouraging truth for all of us. And so, the next sloka says, a comparison between various types of spiritual practitioners. Tapasvidhyodhigo yogi, jnanibhyopi matodhigaha. Then, karmibhyaschathigo yogi, tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. The yogi that is expounded in the Bhagavad Gita from the second chapter onwards, to strengthen which we add various streams of thought and inspiration, including the great technique of meditation of this chapter. Patanjali's idea of training the mind, making it calm and steady, all that is included in the yoga of the Gita. Karma, jnana, bhakti, and this jnana. All these are included in Krishna's teaching of yoga. That is the Gita idea of yoga. This yoga is so comprehensive. I call it a comprehensive spirituality. During work, during leisure, during human relations, and during meditation. You are all in that world of yoga. You are a yogi. That is a beautiful idea. To tell a housewife you are a yogi, people will be wondering, how can she be a yogi? Yogi is something, a specialized type of human being somewhere in the Himalayas. No. Krishna says you are a yogi. Tells the IAS and IFS people in Missouri, when I spoke there, Krishna whispers in your ear, you are a yogi. Be a yogi. You are all to be yogis. That is the nature. Comprehensive spirituality is yoga. So he says here, tapasvibhyodhiko yogi. Yogi is superior to a tapasvi, one who practices austerities. Austerities are not of much spiritual value, very little value. You can say, suppose I fast for 5 days. The only advantage you get out of it is that you can control your sensory appetites. That is one great gain. There is nothing else out of it. That is why a tapasvi is doing something good. But this yogi is superior to that tapasvi. Tapasvidhyodhigo yogi. Jnanibhyopi matodhiga. The jnani who has studied, theoretically, all about philosophy and religion. What is God? What is the soul? He knows everything. That jnani also is inferior to this yogi. Jnanibhyopi mato atika. You have known God. You have known the soul. But you have not experienced and become one with it. That kind of jnani. Jnani is inferior to this yogi. And then, karmibhyaschathigo yogi. Those who do karma with attachment, with all the love and hate relationships or ritual ceremony kind of karma, that karmi is also inferior to this yogi. Karmibhyaschathigo yogi. Then finally comes a wonderful exhortation in the last part of the sloka, sloka 46. Tasmat, therefore, yogi bhavarjuna, be a yogi, be a yogi. If you ask what Krishna is going to advise you, I will say this, he is whispering in your ear, everybody is here, be a yogi, be a yogi. That is your birthright. You are realizing what is already hidden within you. Spirituality is your birthright. Try to realize that birthright. That is the message Krishna conveys to every person. There is no person who can not become a yogi as taught in the Gita. But other types of asceticism and other things we cannot do. Many people cannot do. There is no need for it also. Wasteful energy, that's all. As Buddha discovered After 6 years of ascetic life, he became thin, he became lean, he became weak. When he touched here, the belly, he says in his talks, I could touch my backbone. Such was the nature of his body due to ascetic life. And he tried to get up, he fell down. Then he sat and asked this question, what is this ascetic life? What does it lead me to? Absolutely nothing. Sterile. This body is needed to achieve the highest illumination. I am weakening it all the time. And so he said, this is vulgar. Asceticism of this type is vulgar. Similarly, those who get immersed in sensory life, they are also vulgar. I shall follow the middle path. What a beautiful expression. Madhyama Pratipada, the middle path, which you saw already at the beginning of the 6th chapter. Don't eat too much, don't starve too much, don't work too much, don't rest too much. All this that is said there. Those who take the middle path, they achieve yoga. Therefore, this type of tapas has no meaning at all. The little meaning that you can get out of it is, as I told you, Ekadashi day you fast. Your body says, I want food. Your mind says, no, you won't get it. So you are controlling your body. You are the master of your body, master of your sensory craving. That is the blessing that you can get out of that particular tapas. But real achievement is far ahead. That's what he is saying there. Tapasvit jyotiko yogi, jnanibhyo matodhigaha, karmibhyaschadhigo yogi, tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. I like this beautiful exhortation. To every child in the ear you can tell, be a yogi, be a yogi, as taught in the Gita. Good work you do, help people, serve the people, bring happiness and cheer to one and all, develop peace of mind, strength, detachment. All this is part of yoga, a full life as we call it. What Ramakrishna calls, see God with eyes open at the time of work and eyes closed at the time of meditation. That is the nature of this yoga. That's why you can bring in work as an important element of yoga. Usually work is not considered element of yoga. Work is just something external. Samsara, we call it all samsara. You are doing some work at home, it is samsara. No, it is not samsara. It is yoga. Krishna is going to tell, every work is sacred. Every work is holy. By itself, work is neither good nor bad. But the attitude of the mind makes it good or bad. In this way, work has been given a very high status in the Gita. And the yoga of the Gita is based upon man at work. Man who has to discharge his responsibilities. In the midst of which, he can become spiritual. He can realize the truth. That is the exhortation here to everyone. Politicians, administrators, school teachers, professors, and professionals, housewives, laborers, everyone. Tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. If only we understand the Gita correctly, this will be the constant whisper that Krishna will be putting into the ears of people every minute. Be a yogi, be a yogi, be a yogi. You can become, you have the capacity. Slowly, steadily, there is no quick, what you call, march in this matter. You can take your own pace. But it's a long road. Take one step, that much you have gained. Be thankful that you have gained that one step. Then second step, in this way, according to your own strength. So this is a very practical philosophy. And when you adopt it, there's no need for any regrets. I have not gone fast enough. Then you will go according to your strength. Somebody goes faster. I say, Godspeed, go ahead, I shall come behind you. That attitude must be there. No jealousy, no pulling somebody down. You go faster, I will come behind you. I have got my own pace. What a beautiful idea. High character comes out of this attitude. That's what we need very badly. In one of the speeches of Swami Vivekananda in London, Subject was practical Vedanta. His high character, generous attitude, all these are being discussed. In that context, Swamiji gave an illustration. In the English newspapers of that day, a picture had come. The British Navy and the American Navy were having a joint maneuver in South Pacific. Suddenly, a storm came, and the British Navy ships were shaking and slowly sinking. So all the captain and all the other naval cadets, they stood on the deck, saluting the flag. In front was the American Navy going, unaffected by this storm. And then Swamiji says, this British Navy people standing, saluting the flag, appreciated that American Navy people have escaped this trouble and shouted to them, go ahead, cheer, cheer. We are happy that you have escaped this, we don't mind. And they went down. As they were going down the sea, this is the attitude they took. What high character is there behind it? You find out. You can see in our own way, if anybody escapes something bad and we are in the bad, we will curse that fellow. We don't have that high attitude. Well, it has come to me, you have got to go ahead. I thank you. Why? Our minds are not big, petty, small. There is no yoga at all. In that spirit there is yoga. The yoga attitude is there. A nation of heroes, not petty-minded people. Swamiji appreciated this very much. We need it very badly in our own country. This attitude, go ahead. I'll come behind you, according to my own pace. So this teaching, Tasmat Yogi Bhava Arjuna, be a yogi, Arjuna. Then he sounds a new note on the subject of yoga. In the last verse, which will become the main theme in the next several chapters, that note is bhakti. We were dealing with karma, we were dealing with dedication, we were dealing with meditation, so many things we dealt with. At the end of the 5th chapter, there was just a little note of bhakti. The last verse of 5th chapter, Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhurdam Sarvabhutanam Nyatva Mam Shanti Vrichyati. A beautiful verse. Says, those who know me as the friend of all beings, Krishna is telling us the incarnation of the divine, who takes in whatever you offer in worship to any god or any deity, ultimately they all come to me. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. All yajna and tapas ultimately reach me, the central divine. Sarvaloka Maheshwara, the supreme lord of all universe. And then Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, I am the friend of all beings. That's the language he has used there. Knowing me as such, they attain peace of mind. Real peace will come in God, in the one indwelling divine in all. That note had struck in the 5th chapter. Now, in this last verse of the 6th chapter, a similar note of bhakti is being struck, so that the whole subject of yoga becomes richer and richer with new flow of ideas, new inspiration. Just like the Ganga becomes richer when other rivers join it as tributary. And at Allahabad, also you have Yamuna joining. Then sometime later the Son. So many rivers are joining. So it becomes richer. So also the treatment of yoga begins as a very bare treatment of a philosophical theme. Then every chapter adds new meaning, new strength to that presentation. Here, in the last shloka of the 6th chapter, that is a new element introduced in the yoga, bhakti, love of God. When you work, if there is real love of God, that work becomes really a joyous experience. Therefore, you are first putting that new element into the yoga of the Gita. Yoginam api sarvesham madgate antaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha, he says. Among all the yogis, yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana, whose inner self has been drawn towards me, as eternal self of all, incarnate as Krishna, madgatena antaratmana, Shraddhavan, with great faith and conviction, bhajate yomam, those who worship me, Sadame Yuktatamo Mata. He is the supreme yogi. Tama in Sanskrit is superlative. Tara and Tama. Tara means comparative, better we say. Tama is superlative, best. That's why Taratamya is the word for comparison in Sanskrit. Taratamya. So Taratama. So Tame Yuktatamo Mataha. Among yogis, he is the supreme yogi. When bhakti enters into, you have got jnana, bhakti, jnana, and karma and human relations. This is already the base. So a new element is entering into the exposition of the yoga of the Gita from this verse onwards. And this is the last verse of the 6th chapter. We enter into the 7th chapter. In this, you will find bhakti coming in a big way, in the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All bhakti, strengthening this wonderful path of yoga, enriching it in every sense of the term. We have many aspects of personality. Every aspect of personality is nourished by the comprehensive spirituality of the Gita. Otherwise, one-sidedness will be there. Some aspect is developed, the other is neglected. That should not be. Be all-sided. Develop all aspects of your personality. And emotion is an important aspect. Bhakti is based on emotion and handling that emotion in a right way. That is why this is a great contribution to Krishna's philosophy of yoga, which has been expounded from the 2nd chapter onwards. Here we begin the 7th chapter. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Bhagavan said, Mayyasakta mana partha yogam yunjan madashrayah asamshayam samagram mam yathatnyasyasi tat trunu. Very beautiful expression here. With the mind intent on me, it says, Mayyasakta mana partha. Your mind is drawn towards me. Such a person, yogam yunjanya, he is practicing yoga, madashrayah, always depending upon me, that one infinite self in the heart of all beings, who has become incarnate as Krishna. That is his true dimension. Yogam yunjan madashrayah asamshayam samagram mam yathatnyasyasi. How he understands me in my fullness, that listen to me, that learn from me. Samagram, no reality in its total aspect, not in segmental way. That's why many people are fanatic, intolerant. Why? They see truth only in a piecemeal condition and they hold on to it. Everything else is wrong and they come to fight and quarrel. Because India had a comprehension of the fullness of reality, India became the land of toleration, of understanding that you can approach that reality through various ways. Not what I have caught alone is true. As they say in English, my doxy is orthodoxy. Your doxy is heterodoxy. So you must be punished. That's the language. But here it is not so. We respect everybody's belief, everybody's spiritual path. We welcome them. That is the greatest glory of this great India. And it started achieving this glory from the Rigveda onwards. Whole tradition of India, Vivekananda used to say, the whole history of India, its real inner strength and spirit can be understood by understanding that little verse of the Rigveda of 5,000 years ago. Ekam sat vipra bahudha vadanti. Truth is one. Sages call it by various names. Names are different. Forms are different. But the truth is one and the same. That was so much inculcated into the mind of the people of India. This land became a land of harmony, a land of toleration. No kind of persecutions and killings and this and that. Very, very little only has taken place in our history compared to any country outside. Therefore, he is telling here, Samagram Mam, know God in His totality, in His fullness. Because every personal experience will only deal with an aspect of the divine. We are asked to practice respect for other people's experiences, practice tolerance. That aspect of tolerance is founded by our late President, Dr. Ramakrishna, in his Oxford lectures from what they call Eastern Religions and Western Thought, in that famous book. This is his definition of religion and toleration as we understand in India. Toleration is a homage that the finite mind pays to the inexhaustibility of the infinite. The infinite is inexhaustible. If I have an experience of the infinite and I say I have taken the whole infinite into me, it will be foolish. There is so much left over. Others also can have experience with the infinite. Because of that, I tolerate other people. I respect other people's experience. That is India's attitude. Toleration is the homage that the finite mind pays to the inexhaustibility of the infinite. That is a very beautiful idea. You take a vessel, go to the ocean, take whole vessel full of water, and next time you say, I will exhaust the whole ocean next time. Nothing will be left there. That will be foolish. And a number of people can take water from the ocean. So Ramakrishna gave that parable. An ant went to a hillock of sugar, huge lump of sugar. He took one grain and ate it, took another grain and put in its mouth, and on his return to its hole, it told, next time I shall exhaust a whole hill of sugar. What a foolish statement. Such statements are made in religion, in all the world's religions. That's what creates intolerance, misunderstanding, etc., and violence and war. That could not happen in India because of this idea. There is such a thing as partial knowledge of reality and complete knowledge of reality. Here I shall tell you how you will know me fully. Samagram is the language used here. Samagram means full, totality as we call it. Asamshayam samagram mam yatha patnyasyasi tat shrunu. Listen to me. How you understand reality in its fullness. That is the first slogan. Then, next slogan adds one more point to this teaching. Jnanam teham savijnanamidam says, Vakshyami asheshataha. I shall tell you fully all about jnana and vijnana. Jnana is knowledge. Vijnana is experience. What a beautiful difference between the two. Jnanam and vijnana. Intimate experience of the divine is vijnana. Understanding the divine, knowledge of the divine is called jnana. So I shall expound to you jnanam teham savijnanamidam vakshyami asheshataha. All aspects of it I am going to tell you. Yat jnatva neha bhoyonyat Jnatavyam avashishyate, by knowing which nothing worth knowing will be left out. Nothing worth knowing will be left out. Everything will be included, all-inclusive knowledge. That is the wonderful effort of the human mind in India from the time of the Upanishads. That is where this quality of compassion, tolerance, understanding, all these will come. Even atheist and agnostic we respect all through our history, because when you have a complete knowledge of reality, you find the atheist is one who struggled to understand, he couldn't come to any conclusion. Naturally, we feel sympathy for him, we respect him. But if you hold on a particular theory or dogma, and that man doesn't believe, we say, he must be destroyed. He must be destroyed. This alone is true, this dogma that I hold on. That never happened in India in a big way. Small ways here and there, due to ignorance of certain people, some little narrowness, intolerance had been experienced in our history. So, jnanam teham savijnanam, jnanam along with vijnanam. I am going to tell you, by knowing which there will be nothing left to be known. Yat jnatva na iha, in this world, bhuyo anyat, anything else. Jnayam, yes. Jnatavyam, worthy to be known, avashishyate, will not remain. Everything will be inclusive, totality of reality. Philosophy deals with reality in its fullness. Various sciences deal with reality from various segmental point of view. Take, for example, chemistry or physics, dealing with certain aspects of physical reality. And when you go to botany, zoology, another aspect comes in, another aspect comes in. All this together, then psychology, ethics, all these things go from the inner life. Now take all this together, then only you get the totality of reality. That's why many philosophers in Europe define philosophy as the summation of all knowledge. All knowledge must be included in philosophy. Nothing should be left out. That's what we have tried to do in the Vedanta. That is what is being expounded briefly in this part of the Gita, the verse 2. And verse 3 is a great verse, often repeated in our discourses by scholars and saints. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yadapi siddhaye yadatam api siddhanam kaschit mam veti tattvataha. Among thousands of people, only a handful really struggle for spiritual perfection. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yadati siddhaye. For spiritual perfection, siddhi, a few only strive. Others are not concerned with it. They are busy with eating, drinking, and various other pursuits. That's the first line. But yatatam api siddhanam, among those who are very many in the pursuit of the highest perfection, actually a few only really achieve the end of that perfection. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. Just a few really understand me as I am truly what I am. Tattvataha. Understand God in the Bible language in spirit and in truth. That's the language. Exactly as it is mentioned here. God to be understood in spirit and in truth, not as a reflex of our own mind, an image of our own personality. That is not the full way of understanding. You can begin with it. But what is God in himself, in his fullness? That is what they wanted to understand. Sarvam, the word sarvam comes there. Everything, nothing is left out. Everything is included. What is the nature of that philosophy? That is the contribution of what you call the Advaita to the world's thought. That philosophy of non-duality, ultimate oneness. We have all come for the one. We all return to the one. That one, ekameva, advitiyam, Brahma. Brahman which is one, and non-dual. That is the Brahman, which is the theme of Vedanta. And there you will find the idea of completeness, fullness, nothing left out. So here, many try, but a few only achieve. It is like our Olympics. How many people participate in the running? And a few only reach the final destination, of which only one will reach the first mark, because all others are later. In spiritual life also, we all start together, but according to our capacities, our speed will be limited. So it will take time. But having said this, the main truth is everyone will attain some time or the other, because that is his own nature. So that everybody is capable of achieving the highest. But in limited sphere of life, you see 1,000 people. Among 1,000, a few strive for spiritual perfection. Among those who strive, only a few really achieve the fullest perfection in this life. That is the sloka in the third sloka of the 7th chapter. In Bible, Jesus said, many are called, but few are chosen. Many are called, but few are chosen. It is like our employment business. For 10,000 applications, 10 will be taken. That is all. Similarly, in spiritual life, we all join the race. But because of differences in capacity, endowment, etc., many are left behind. Others go faster. In this condition, we say, go ahead. I respect you. I will come behind. I know I will also reach there. But it takes longer time for me. I don't mind it. That kind of making peace with oneself is absolutely essential. Unnecessarily troubling the mind, weakening it by self-deprecation, that's not allowed in Vedanta. Have faith, have faith. Everyone will attain it. That's the attitude. So, this is an important verse which is true to life. Every department of life you will find the truth of this statement. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatate siddhaye. Hundreds and, in our elections, 1,000 independents stood and all were defeated. Nobody could get. And many hundreds of candidates, of parties, many of them lost, but a few won later. So this is the nature of human life. Spiritual life also is similarly the same. Depends upon our capacity, our energy. All these things are not equal in every human being. Possibility of spirituality is common in all, but the capacity to express it is not common in all. That is differentiated between man and man. Now, Krishna says now, reality can be divided into two departments. One is reality revealed by the five senses. That is one aspect of reality. The other is what lies beyond the sensory level. That is another aspect of reality. If you want to achieve realization of total reality, you must take both these into view, not merely external physical world. So here Krishna is dividing reality therefore into two categories. He calls it Prakriti. Prakriti is the word for nature. In the West, the word nature means only physical nature. In India, nature means everything. Prakriti means everything. The whole reality is Prakriti. Therefore, we don't have something supernatural in Indian thought. In the West, because of this limited concept of nature, in religion they have supernatural. But in science they don't accept it. There is conflict between the two. We don't have that problem. Our concept of Prakriti is comprehensive. Whatever exists is Prakriti, whether it is inside, outside, anywhere. So we don't have supernatural, but we may have superphysical, super rational, super conscious, but not supernatural. That's why our system will not conflict with physical science. They don't accept anything supernatural, physical science. So Krishna is beginning to classify two great departments by which you can approach reality. One is the sensory reality, revealed by the five senses, which is the subject of study for all the sciences. And then what lies above the sensory level. Both are Prakriti. So the first one he calls Apara Prakriti, ordinary Prakriti. Second one he calls Para Prakriti, superior Prakriti, higher Prakriti. That's all. Two departments of Prakriti, ordinary, extraordinary. Two departments of sciences according to Mundaka Upanishad. One is called Aparavidya, ordinary science. The other is called Paravidya, higher science. These are all well classified by our great sages. So, what constitutes this Apara Prakriti? That first part of Prakriti. Prakriti that is revealed to you by the five senses. The next sloka deals with it. Bhumirapo vanalo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankara itiyam me bhinna prakriti rashtatha. Eightfold is my Prakriti, Krishna says. And that Prakriti is what you find manifested as earth, water, fire, air, space, the ego in man. All these are considered as Prakriti of one type. Bhumi, Apa means water, and Anala is what you call the fire, Bhumi, Anala, fire, then Vayu, air, and Ka means ether or space, and then mind, intellect, and the ego. All this is one category of Prakriti. That is the first sentence. Vinna Prakriti Rashtatha. Eightfold is my Prakriti. Says that. This is my nature. That means in all these so-called physical things, I am present. Why? As consciousness. As pure consciousness, it is present in all these things. That is the first statement. Then the next statement is very interesting. Apareyam yidastvanyam prakritim vidhime param jiva bhutam mahabaho yedam dharyate jagat. Consider this eightfold Prakriti to be my inferior Prakriti, lower Prakriti, Apara. Apareyam. This is Apara Prakriti of my nature. But now try to understand that Para Prakriti, the higher Prakriti of mind, which is of the nature of intelligence, nature of consciousness, Jiva Bhutam. O Arjuna, Yedam Dharite Jagat. It is that higher Prakriti that sustains the whole universe. Pure consciousness sustains the whole universe. That is higher Prakriti. And the technique and science of understanding that Prakriti is different from the technique and science of understanding this lower Prakriti. This is the science physical. That is the science superphysical or transcendental. Whatever is above the sensory system is called transcendental. That's all it means. Above the sensory level is called transcendental. Loka, Lokottara, as Buddha would say, this is called Loka. That's Lokottara. Loka plus Lokottara is totality of reality. Loka alone cannot be totality of reality. Lokottara alone cannot be totality of reality. Loka plus Lokottara, Apara plus Para, that is reality. So in this second verse, that is verse 5, Apareyam itastvanyam prakriti vidhime para. Apart from this, know thou my higher Prakriti, superior Prakriti, Jiva Bhutam, of the nature of Jiva, consciousness, awareness, intelligence, the principle of intelligence. The whole world is dull dead matter. From the starry system up to a lump of clay, everything is dull dead matter. There is no Jiva there. But When Jiva appears, a new reality comes in, a new dimension of reality comes in. Jiva Bhutam, Mahabaho, Yayedam Dhajate Jagat, by which this whole universe is sustained, is carried, as it were. So this second aspect of reality was not there in modern science till now. Only the first aspect was there. And they were telling us always, this is the whole of reality. There is nothing higher. There is nothing higher. Science is everything. Science is everything. That kind of attitude is slowly breaking down. In the West itself, many scientists themselves have begun to feel that this is only a limited aspect of reality. There is something higher. That something higher is consciousness, what you call intelligence. That's why as new books come out from the press, you find this classification of Gita getting recognition. That day, Fred Hoyle, astrophysicist, was here speaking in the Birla Planetarium. So I talked with him. I read his earlier book some 30 years ago, perfectly materialistic, that book was. Now he has written a new book, The Intelligent Universe. Wonderful. Where the intelligence has come now, as it has come. And he told me, yes, we have changed our attitude. You can't explain the world without that principle of intelligence. What a wonderful idea. Though, even in biology, embryology, and all these subjects, dealing with the living cell, many scientists even today will dispense with all concept of intelligence. Everything is mechanical, chemistry and physics, and nothing else. That is some people's view. But other scientists are finding no, that cannot be. The behavior of a living cell, what a wonderful behavior. It develops, it grows, it multiplies, it repairs itself. It doesn't need external material to repair. From itself, it finds material to repair itself. What a wonderful thing it is. And so also, the small little cell becomes multiple, and becomes a living child. What a wonderful growth it is in embryology. So in all these fields, many scientists have begun to feel mere mechanical explanation cannot explain the way things behave. You do need that second category called intelligence or consciousness. Especially goal-oriented actions need consciousness. This is a goal-oriented action. A particular cell or a particular gene in the cell goes to a particular target in the development of the embryo. What a tremendous direction you find there. All this cannot be treated as merely physical or mechanical, though many people still believe in mechanical. Today they are called reductionists, those who reduce everything to the primary physics and chemistry of the world. They are called reductionist philosophers. They are not respected. Slowly people are going beyond that reductionist attitude. So when Krishna tells here, know this to be my inferior prakriti, there is my superior prakriti by which the whole thing is animated. Yayedam dhadite jagat. Whole world is sustained by that wonderful intelligence, principle of intelligence or consciousness, which is my higher nature. The same divine having two dimensions. This apara, this para. This is jada, this is conscious. Chit, as we call it in Sanskrit. Chit and jada. Two aspects. Jada is, you can see, all around you. Only in a living cell you find the chit principle manifest. It is there, according to our philosophy. Even in the jada, the chit is there. But the jada is not developed enough to manifest the chit. But when it becomes developed, slowly that manifestation comes. So all evolution, according to Vedanta, is manifestation of something deeply hidden within. And so they call it evolution of structure, manifestation of consciousness. That's the meaning of evolution. Evolution of structure. The structure evolves. Consciousness that is there finds it more easy to manifest through that evolved structure. Say for a living cell, very little consciousness can find manifestation there. But when the cells multiply and they become diversified, they become integrated into an organism, then more consciousness is manifested there. Same thing, when it develops a cerebral system in a human being, much more consciousness is manifested there. What is manifesting? Consciousness. What is evolving? Not consciousness.